My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces. And we had just had pancakes and, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle.
Okay, so after being pressured for over a month by Republicans and even by some Democrats, Kamala Harris and her handlers, they finally decided to do an interview. But it really wasn't an interview. It was more of a propagandized campaign ad, because they went to one of the most Trump-hating networks, CNN, chose a CNN Democrat propagandist, a Democrat operative, Dana Bash, to give a softball interview to Kamala Harris. And this is to fulfill a requirement. Okay, y'all can shut up now because I finally did an interview. But we're going to get into this interview. It wasn't that long. It's about 18, 19 minutes long. So we're going to talk about some of the few questions that she had to answer. Now, remember, Walz was there with her babysitter. We're going to get to him in another video. But he took up some of the airtime. Think about it. 18 minutes. Walz has to answer questions. Dana Bash, she talks really slowly and nervously. So she's asking questions, taking up time. And Kamala Harris, she's very long-winded when she gets into her word salad, trying to be dodgy. So it really wasn't that much substance at all to the interview. But we did get one key point that we're going to get to at the end of this, that Kamala Harris confessed unwittingly. But but let's get into the first question. Day one, what are you going to do on day one?
The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans.
All right, I had to cut that off because she's rambling. She's dodgy, she's rambling, she's not answering the questions because she has no answer. She's searching, she's digging. Please, Dana, save me. This is supposed to be a softball interview. Just give me something to say. Lead the witness, please, because Dana Bash did do that. And one of the questions, she kind of asked the question, then gave Kamala the answer as she asked the question. But she was searchy, dodgy, didn't have anything because she doesn't know what she's going to do on day one. Her handlers are going to keep the same communist agenda that they're running right now with Joe Biden. That's what's going to happen. Second question. Joe Biden dropped out of the race. He's old. He's senile. He got destroyed by Trump in that debate. We all saw it. You were the VP. You're the one who could have exercised the 25th Amendment, but you sat there defending him even after the whole world saw that his mind was gone after the first debate. You came out there, Kamala, and defended that. What do you have to say about that?
You were a very staunch defender of President Biden's capacity to serve another 4 years. Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all. I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now, and I'll tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my career, truly. He cares so deeply about the American people. He is so smart and loyal to the American people. And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment and disposition that I think the American people rightly deserve in their president. By contrast, the former president has none of that. And so, one, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I am so proud to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago.
Because we haven't had a chance to talk, I'm just curious, staying on President Biden, when he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a Sunday, so here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces, and we had just had pancakes and, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle. And the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And that's how I learned about it.
And what about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, "I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you."
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him, to be honest.
Look at Kamala's face. Just look at that, man. She shook. Her body language is that of a liar. She can't hold eye contact. She keeps looking down. At first, I thought she had some notes or something. I'm like, what is she reading? No, she's just dodgy. She's afraid to look someone eye to eye because that's the body language of a liar. That's the body language of someone searching for something to say because they have nothing. So let's get into the final piece that we're going to look at. That was about her record. This is something that people are really asking questions about because her record is that of a communist. She wanted to ban fracking. She supported AOC with that ridiculous Green New Deal, completely destroying the energy sector and the economy while they're at it. And other things, plenty of communist-like things that she said. Because remember, her record was that of the most left-wing Democrat in the entire Senate. And she ran for president on that record as a California Democrat. But now she knows that the American people don't want that. So she has to weasel her way out of her entire career of a left-wing Democrat and try to pretend that she's a centrist.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed.
So you see her trying to be vague, talking about, my values. That's very abstract. She's not giving anything of substance, anything that the people can take away and understand exactly what they're getting when they vote for her. But here's the unwitting part that she said in here, the part where she revealed who she really was. She said, my values haven't changed. So when it comes to the border, when it comes to fracking, when it comes to the Green New Deal, when it comes to being a communist, my values haven't changed. She's still the same old trash politician. People thinking, oh, she turned over a new leaf. Man, she's 60 years old. She's been a far left-wing San Francisco Democrat for decades. You think she's about to change now? No, what she's going to do, because she's a chameleon, what she's going to do is lie. She's going to lie to American people, to her voters, even though a lot of voters will vote for her anyways, knowing she's a communist. But she's going to lie so she can get elected. But there you have it. That's the interview. They did ask her about Trump, saying that she turned black, and she kind of dodged the question. She just said, well, Trump always says stuff like that. Next question. She avoided that one too. But I think the most critical part in it, besides her spilling the beans on my values haven't changed, the most critical part was the fact that she's still glued to Joe's records. She tried to straddle the fence. She tried to toe the line by defending her and Joe's record, but at the same time, she tried to separate herself from Joe. You can't do that. So she failed at that. She's going to go into November attached to these trash policies, the immigration border wide open, Bidenomics, inflation through the roof. She's attached to that. But that's pretty much it. This interview was trash. It wasn't really an interview, like I said. It was more of a campaign ad sponsored by CNN. And somebody may need to look into that, because when CNN is doing softball interviews like this in an election, couldn't that be considered a campaign contribution? But that's a different story. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me your thoughts below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.